Katrina gave me a call or a message. We were just chatting about, we always talk shop. And she shared with me that some agents right now are what I call frozen in place. That doesn't mean there's something is wrong, is they're like in a place where they're not clear about what to do next. They're not sure what's going to happen to the market, what's going to happen to my career, what's going to happen to me. And those are all valid questions. What's happening right now is real. It's not fake. It is very real. But what matters to us is how we react. How do we behave? What do we do to help people, which is really our job? We help people make good decisions about real estate. If we are the professionals, we have to be grounded. So I want to read you what I wrote in here in the opening slide that you're looking at. It says, when the mind is enveloped in fear, it forgets this adage, this too shall pass. See, people think when something bad is happening, it's going to happen forever. Fear has a way to have us focus on scarcity, have us focus and prevents us from looking at opportunity. Because right now there is opportunity, but we have to be mindful not to be frozen in place by fear. And one of the things I liked about Dale Carnegie, his quote where he says, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit still and think about it. Get busy and take action. So what I want to do is share with you some ideas, some mindset, and some statistics that are going to help you kind of go, okay, all right. So we're not falling off a cliff. We're going to be okay. How do I now work my business? So let me give you some thoughts. So let me first reflect on these two quotes about fear. This one comes from Susie Kasem. She says, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. You see, when you are frozen in fear, when you're afraid, what happens is you start doubting yourself. You start questioning, do I have it in me? Am I going to make it? Am I good enough? Will I survive? And those ideas are going to start eating you alive because you're full of doubt. What you need to understand is fear, as long as it doesn't shut down your mind, you're going to be fine. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. So we need to start realizing, yes, what's happening is important. What's happening can be scary. But who are we? Where do I want to go? So let's take let me give you some numbers. This chart that you're looking at, this chart shows you what I call the median home price and the recessions that we had. Anything that is in a gray bar is a recession. Notice what happens with the median home price in the United States. Every time there's a recession, the median home price starts kind of wobbly. It becomes wobbly. It doesn't want to go up. It just want to go, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then guess what? After the recession, it starts moving up. So if you look at this carefully, what you'll notice is even when we had the worst pullback, which was a housing crisis, we came back and we are higher now. That's what fear does. Fear makes some buyers and sellers step out and be scared. And that is legitimate. But our job is not to be as afraid as they are. If they're afraid and we're afraid, we're going to make it worse. So this chart should just show you, just from the point of view of housing. And you may want to take a picture of this and show it to your clients, because your clients need to know that housing prices from 1965 to about right now have always gone up, but sometimes they wobble a bit, and then they go up, and they wobble a bit, and then they go up, and they wobble a bit, and they go up. But when you're in the middle of a crisis like this one, you think they're going to crash. They think the housing market is like the stock market. See, the stock market is an emotional device. The stock market is when you're afraid, you pull back your stocks. When you're good, you add to your stocks. That's what the stock market does because it's liquid. Real estate is not liquid. As long as you have your home and you're paying your mortgage, you're going to be just fine. But let me show you this chart. See, for me, this chart tells you everything about real estate. And I'm going to give you how it breaks down. When you look at it, you're looking at a bunch of bars, and guys like me or mathematicians got very excited, like, oh, this is so nice. But let me tell you what it really means. This chart is telling you the following. It's telling you that in 2018 and 2019, the last 2 years, we had about 5.3 million listings. That means there were about 10 million, 10.5 million transactions in the United States. By the way, if you add what you call new construction, it's about 11.5 million transactions. So 2018 and 2019, we had 5.3 million listings. And you know, with every listing, there's a buyer that was on the other side. Multiply that by 2. In the last 10 years, if you take the last 10 years that we had, the average number of listings per year is 5 million. This, when the market crashed, I don't know how many of you were around. I was. When we had the financial crisis, which was a financial crisis, and when we had the housing crisis, people thought people were not buying or selling. You know what we went down to? We went down to 4.5 million. So if you look at it from the point of view of rational mathematics, we do an average of 5 million. The last 2 years, we did 5.3 on average. Well, guess what? This year, we were projected to do 5.5 million. You know how many we're going to do? Probably 5.2, probably 5.1. That's a fact. It is going to happen. Now, the spring market, you know, by the way, do you guys know tomorrow is the first day of spring? So the spring market was supposed to start tomorrow, right? Technically speaking, right? It just has been delayed. It has been shoved by a few weeks. Most analysts are thinking about 5 to 6 weeks. By the way, that doesn't mean there aren't sales right now. It just means that things have been moved a bit in the future. But there's a reality I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to lie to you about this one. This year, we will lose 350,000 agents in the United States. But you got to remember this. Every year, we lose 250,000 agents. That's the normal. The normal in real estate is every year, 250,000 agents end up quitting the job of real estate because they didn't have enough transactions. They thought it was a job. They didn't realize you had to be an entrepreneur. So guess what? We're going to lose them anyway. So we're going to lose them. This year, there'll be more people who will give up. Now, is that going to be you? I hope not. But the truth of the matter is, it's going to happen. So let me give you some truths. The first truth is, in this economic downturn, the strong agents are redoubling their commitment to their career. They're not waiting. They're going, no. I'm working on my market report. I'm working on my listing presentation. I'm getting to work. I'm using this time to get to work and talk to my people.
All right, baby.
But some of the dabblers, the people who are doing real estate on the side, are realizing that if you don't jump in and actually commit, if you don't have what it takes to succeed, you know what happens? They end up quitting. And that is going to happen. So here's the bottom line. 80% of all sales are done by 20% of real estate. And guess what? That same equation is going to remain this year. My question to you is, are you all in? Are you all in your business? Are you realizing this shall pass?
Is Lily actually moving around or no?
So we have people on the call. Can you please mute yourself? Well, I probably have to mute everybody. Let me mute all. Hopefully I can mute everybody. So this statistic that I'm showing you is not my statistics. It has been this way forever. 80% of all transactions and sales are done by 20% of agents. Are we going to lose agents? Absolutely. They tend to have less than 5 deals a year. They tend to have a second job, and they tend to need the security of income. And guess what? This real estate is not a security job. It's a job where you have to generate sales. So let me give you some reality. Some of your would-be buyers and would-be sellers are frozen by fear right now. They are scared. And I want you to be understanding of that. Your job is to stay calm, to be strategic, to be engaging. Let them talk to you about their fear. See, the more they talk to you about their fear and you remain calm, the more they will remember your professionalism. They will remember you're the person who talked to them when everything was dark. They will remember that. People don't remember the person running around going, oh my God, we're going to die, we're going to die. People don't remember that person, although they laugh at them if you want to call it that. They will remember the person who stayed calm. So engage your client, engage your past client. Many of them just need a few weeks. They're just frozen in place. They just need a breather. Your job is to let them feel okay with being afraid. Do not process them. Do not lie to them. Just listen to them. Listening is so powerful in real estate. The ability to just hear somebody's pain, to acknowledge their pain, to acknowledge their fear. Sometimes by just listening, you start making it, okay, I can breathe. I'm not dying right now. I can survive this. You need to absorb that. You need to take notes. You need to engage. I was talking to an agent and she said, Key, I'm scared. I'm like, I know. We're all scared. She goes, I'm afraid of calling my clients and they'll be scared and I'll be scared. I'm going to freak out. I'm like, yeah, I understand. You can't do that with them. When you call them, it's about them. It's not about you. You need to be listening to them. You should be asking them, how do you feel? What's going on? Talk to me. What is happening? What are your fears? What are your hesitation? Engage them. Let them talk. Do not sell them anything. Do not convince them this is the right time to buy or convince them that this is the right time to sell. Don't do that. Just listen. Here's some actions. Work on your mindset. Read good books. This is your chance to read some good books that are going to help you develop your mindset. Become mentally strong. Become resilient. Work on your big projects. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know that listing presentation you've been meaning to put together for the last 2-3 years that you never finished? This is your chance to finish it. You know that YouTube channel that you wanted to get started where you want people to know about the local market conditions? You need to be working on that. You know that blog that you go, oh man, if I only had more time, I should be blogging. This is your time to do that. But if there is one thing I can leave you with, if you could just listen to this and then get off the call, you'll be fine. Engage, engage, engage. What I mean by that, make time every day for a minimum of 2 hours to call past clients, existing clients, and future clients and simply listen. What's happening with you? What's going on? I know we were talking about real estate last week, and I know things have changed, right? You go, yeah, we're scared. What do we do? And then you listen to them. You do not have to fix them. You just have sometimes to listen to them. Engage, engage, engage. And if there is one more source I want you to do, is, yes, you have to follow the news, but you got to select your source properly. Don't wake up in the morning and at 5 a.m. in the morning, put on CNN or MSNBC. All you're going to hear is the end of the world has been declared. We're all going to die. That's all you're going to hear, because they're in the business of bad news. They're not in the business of good news. So absorb some news, but absorb some of it. Be smart about what you listen to. Here's what I want you to do. You want to listen to the news? Listen to your local news. Find out what's happening locally and use that information to educate your clients. So if there's a place where people can get, groceries, where people can get their needs met, where people can go to a shelter, where people can find a Purell, where people can find toilet paper, whatever it is. See, focus locally. See, as a realtor, you're a local realtor. You're not a global realtor. So if you find out that your city or your town is passing some kind of help for people, or donating blood, or doing something at the hospital, or maybe helping the fire department, or doing something, anything that you can be engaged locally is going to be a plus for you. You need to be kind of a first responder. I know you're not a first responder. I know you're not a nurse. You're not a doctor. You cannot fix people, but you cannot add to the anxiety. You want to alleviate the anxiety. I know some people in my town, they're getting together into soup pantries and trying to feed the people who lost their job. And you know who they are? They're the people who, clean our stores, the people who work at hotels. All of those people need help. They need immediate help. So people are getting together and grabbing food and making meals that are easy to make and safe to help people locally. So become part of the solution. Don't add to the anxiety. They're already anxious. Why would you add to it? Why would you complain about the government? It's not going to make it better. It's just going to make it worse. Control your morning. If there's a piece of advice I can give you, is control your morning. Go to bed early. You do not have to watch Netflix until 2 a.m. in the morning. You do not need to binge. You can watch some of it. But guess what? You should probably go to bed early, wake up early, and make time to reflect. You should have a journal. You should be writing your ideas. You should be writing about your future opportunities. You should be working on a big project. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and you know what he's working on? He said, I am going to revamp my whole video library. I have a lot of videos that tell people how to purchase a home. They're like 4 years old. I'm going to start creating a new video every day that helps people on how to buy, how to understand the home inspection. He says, I've done them before, but they're dated, so I want to update them. Control your morning. So let's do this. Grab a pen. I'm going to ask you something. I want you to write it down. Write down right now, what is the proper healthy time for you to wake up in the morning? To go to bed. What time at night should you go to bed? Write that down. I can tell you mine. And by the way, some of you are going, what? I go to bed at 8:30. Okay? I'm not saying you should do that. That's what I do. I wake up at 3:30. I'm not saying you should do that either. Maybe you want to wake up at 5. Maybe you want to wake up at 6. I like the early hour. The 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. hours are my most valuable 2 hours of the day. And here's what I want you to write. Write this down for me. Write 2 or 3 healthy things that you should do in the morning that have nothing to do with television or work. They could be meditation. They could be reflection. They could be affirmations. It could be preparing food for your kids. It could be going for a walk with your dog alone. That's what they're saying now. You have to go you can take your dog, but you got to go alone, which is fine. Write 2 to 3 healthy things you should do in the morning that have nothing to do with television or your business? Go. You know what they are. Trust yourself. It does not have to be profound. It could be as simple as when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to read my Bible for 10 minutes and just reflect. Just give me that centeredness of being grounded as a human being. I'm going to work on my energy. I'm going to work on my exercising. I'm going to work on my health. Do something that is good for you. Could be reading a book that you've been meaning to read. So you should have 2 to 3 healthy activities in the morning. And I want to remind you of this chart. This is an important chart. Some of you have seen this before. You know, the distinction between what's important and what is urgent. Most people, when in a panic mode, they focus on urgent things that are important or urgent things that are not important. So most people right now are spending too much time on their distractions. They're using the fear of the market to be distracted. You want to eliminate as much of it as possible. I understand if you need to watch an hour or 2 of news a day. Totally understand it. But all day long, come on. They just keep repeating themselves. Where you want to be is in that yellow zone. You want to be in the goals and planning. If I can have you spend a half hour a day, at least a half hour, maybe an hour, on your goals and your planning and strategizing for the future, you will always be ahead of people because you're always strategizing. You're planning. You're getting yourself ready. You're not reacting. You're creating. The crisis is when you're reacting. Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Planning is where now you're in control. This is where you decide, this is what I want to do this year. These are the listings I want to get. This is the listing presentation I want to use. These are the scripts I should be practicing. The goals and planning we're not spending enough time on. And smart agents who do not let fear stop them, they feed their mind. They read daily. I'll give you an example of 2 books. I love this book called Organize Tomorrow Today by Jason Selk. This is an excellent book for many of you. It will help you really ground yourself. It has some good ideas, very grounded. Let me give you another one. If you're in the leadership business, this one is for you. Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last. This is an excellent book if you're a team leader, if you're somebody who's leading a group of people, you want to help people make better decisions, and why some teams pull together and others don't. And right now, we need to pull together. So some of you may find this book very useful. The next one I want to recommend, if some of you are working on your negotiation skills, this could be an excellent book for you. The book is called Yes by Robert Cialdini, 50 scientifically proven ways to become persuasive. This could be a good book for you right now, because right now we're negotiating our listings, our sales, people being afraid. So this, for some of you, would be an excellent book. Let me see. Oh, you can never go wrong with this book. This book is the granddaddy of, if you're going to succeed in real estate, you got to go through this book. It's called The Power of Self-Discipline, No Excuses by Brian Tracy. Make this a book you read for 10 minutes every day. Your life will change. And you know what it does? It helps you no longer be frozen by fear. You're now in control of your destiny. Remember, you're an entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is somebody who creates the path of their future. So smart people who are, confronting challenges, they feed their mind. That's what I do every morning. My ritual is very simple. I meditate. I do affirmation. I read. and I write, and I do that every single day. And I do that not because I want to become a better salesman. I do that because it nourishes me. It fills me with something positive and to be what's called a person who makes a difference in the world. All of you make a difference if you feed this, feed your mind. Here's a list of books. I'll keep it for a second so that you guys can take a picture of it. I am recording this, so I'll give Katrina a link to this video if you want it. But these are, I mean, you guys have heard of this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Raving Fans, The Morning Miracle. I mean, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Oh, please get that book. It's an excellent book. So these are some books I'm sharing with you, but I'm sure you have your own books you are reading. But engage. So here's what I want you to do. Every day, you must do at least 2 hours of engagements. 2 hours daily should be spent on engagement. What do I mean by that? So let's say I was talking to Katrina. I would say, Katrina, you're going to spend 35 minutes engaging people on the phone that are new business. You're going to work on new business for 35 minutes. Then you're going to take a break. You're going to take a 10, 15-minute break. You want to shake it off. You want to just breathe, hydrate, drink some water. Then I want you to do 35 minutes with referral business, your sphere of influence, the people who know you or the people who've worked with you. You do about 35 minutes, and then you take a 10 to 15-minute break. You shake it off. You do what you need to do. And then you come back and you do another 35 minutes of lead generation calls or business calls. We call that harvesting your business. If you did this every day, 35 minute, 10-minute break, 35 minute, 10-minute break, 35 minute, and then you take a long break, here's what you're doing. Now you're stirring the pot. Now you're working your business. You're no longer reacting. You're no longer afraid. You're now in charge of your business. Please keep this idea in mind. You should do at least 2 hours like this every single day, regardless of the coronavirus or not. This is what you should do every single day, no matter what. Systems. Some of you have been in the business a long time, right? And you know that systems matter. Having a good checklist matter. Well, guess what? This is the time to refine it. You know that checklist for your open houses? See, right now you cannot do open houses in certain areas. Well, guess what? Sit down and take that open house in your mind and turn it into a checklist. Why? Because checklists give you ideas on how to get better. Everything you do is a checklist. Everything you do should become a checklist. How to write a blog? What's a checklist? How is my Facebook channel? Do I have enough information in my Facebook channel? Let me look at that. How many people have I contacted? Can I add friends? By the way, right now, you should be adding friends to your Facebook page. You know that Facebook page you created for your business? You should be using the time to get people to join you and share positive messages. Share messages that make people feel good about themselves. Don't share fear. They already are fearful. Share optimism. Share things that see the world in a positive light. No matter how much of an expert you are, every expert I've ever met designs well-designed checklists. Checklists are your friends. And finally, I want to finish with this success idea. Success is connected with your actions. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. They keep moving. They keep that optimism. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it. If somebody else is making it, I'm going to make it.